It's if you put 9995. Yeah. Do you want a picture, a nice picture of a broken window over there?
So what happened?
This car was parked down there and somebody came in, smashed it together with another car. No, there is.
Oh, there was or there is?
There must have been disturbed. The radio's still there. Probably be back tonight.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of trouble with vandalism?
Around this area, there's plenty of it. There are better parts.
So did you get the police?
Waste of time.
$7219. Councillor, I'm on the other phone. Can I call you back? You've sent me your phone number. I'll speak to you in a minute. Okay, bye. Neville, Steve Longhorn at Stoke Newington. Councillor Abraham Lewis just sent me a fax. One of his community has received something in the post, which is a poster and a letter, entitled Holler Hoax. And it's on the right-hand side, there's a picture of a lavatory with a Star of David on it, an arm coming out of the lavatory, pulling a chain with 6 million tattooed on the arm. Have you seen it before? Shall I just read it through for you so you know what we're talking about? It's headed Holler Hoax, the 6 million lie flushed down the tubes. Why not 6,000,001? Surely one more is not overdone. A little more gas, one more squeezed in that mass, one more yid gets a place in the sun. And it said this poem is dedicated with profound respect to the Right Honourable Greville Janner, QC MP, WC and Chain. Goes on a little bit more of the same. Courtesy of the newly formed White Revolutionary Resistance Army British Wing, hail to the Sohim or Sonim, underlined death to all Zionist, Marxist, Communist and super-capitalist Yiddish swine.
From conversations I've had with Holocaust survivors, they have this need to recreate their families. They are a link in the chain going all the way back to Moses and to Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, and they don't want to see the chain end with them. And the chain was snapped, and by a very thin thread the chain survived, and they want to rebuild that chain to the strength that it was before the war. And that takes a lot of input, a lot of energy, a lot of education, a lot of transmission from one generation to the next of culture and of history. And they are very concerned. That is their raison d'etre. That is the thing that's keeping them alive. The fact that they can transmit their lifestyle to their children and to their grandchildren, and it means that Hitler did not win. Because if Jews stop being Jews today, 50 years after the war, Hitler will have won.
It's not right for man to be alone. That's why Eve was created for Adam, and that's why Adam wouldn't be where he was without Eve, and Eve couldn't survive without Adam. That's what the whole idea of a shidduch is, and also of arranged marriages. It's bringing two people together and strengthening the Jewish people by bringing new life into the Jewish people. I mean, if a romantic love was the best way, how come are there so many divorces that are started off on this romantic love? How often do you see wherever they're together and it's lovely and it all flies out the window? You basically have to have the same ideas about life. No one says you can't have the romantic love. You definitely have to like someone. You can't just go on a shidduch and just, because it's a shidduch, get married and finish. Definitely have to like them. So, and then it works. The great big love comes after of the years of your putting in, your giving to each other. That's when the love comes in. That's what I think, anyway.
Yes, the thing is that you shouldn't be really seen too often together, because people are going to start asking you, are you engaged, and so on. So you should really go somewhere where maybe, you know, it's a little bit discreet until such time that you are engaged. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't let this shidduch carry on for more than 3 weeks. You see, he's not exactly a young man, and I do feel that he wants to get to know you a little bit better. It is a commitment for life, and he just wants to, to get the relationship, a bit more cemented. Yes. Well, the thing is that if we get a feedback and we feel that the relationship is going a step nearer to the engagement, then we're quite happy with it. And if we feel at any stage that, something is wrong, then we'll come back to you immediately so that you're aware of it. You mustn't put him under any pressure. Really, yes, because if the pressure is got to come from us, we will be the ones who will be saying, well, no, you've got to take a decision now, you've seen her, and, yes, you shouldn't put at all any pressure on him.
It was a couple in Golders Green who suggested him for me, and we went through rigorous, going into all the details, who he was, how old, what did he do, all the things that, to find out exactly what he's all about. And since he's from abroad, so it was, you have to ask around people who he knows from England. And then my parents went through it all and they discovered that it wasn't such a bad idea anyway, and it might be a very suitable match. So he flew over and they asked him if he was interested in me. It's all right me saying I'm interested in him. So, and he was, so we met. And then 2 weeks later we were engaged. Yeah, that's right.
I've been wearing a wig for about 34 years since I'm married. And now the wigs are very beautiful and it's much easier to wear them. Whereas at the beginning, 34 years ago, it wasn't so nice and it wasn't so easy to get used to them. I had a lot of headaches. Obviously I had this headache because I had something quite heavy on. But slowly I got used to it. We had to wear it, so there was... But now the great improvement is that they look so much more natural. Well, from the time they get married, it's a law to cover one's own hair, not to show any hair at all. It's a sign of modesty to cover one's own hair. The husband wishes, and I think that every young married girl likes to please their husband, and so I don't think there's a question of rebelling, because they've been brought up that way, that when they get married they're going to wear a wig and cover their hair.
%20 of my clients have got no hair, they are shaven. 50% have medium length hair and 50% have quite long hair. Our brides vary between 17 and 20, really, that's the ages of the youngsters getting married, really.
You want to basically know that you can have somebody who will build a faithful and true house in Israel. That's right. Somebody who I know would be a good father to children, a good companion, somebody I could rely on, keen on. I needed somebody who was basically a lot cleverer than me, so I can have somebody that I can rely on for decisions rather than I feel I have to take them on for myself. So that's what I got. And I'm very happy.
And anything else that she's having? Nothing else besides breast milk at the moment?
It's the first time I've managed to.
Contraception is something which is generally not used among the Hasidic community. The Hasidic women do have to abide by certain purity laws, Of course, this just relates to married women. During part of their cycle, they're considered to be unclean, and this is during the time of their period and for 7 days after their period. During this time, sexual relationships are forbidden. After they've had the 7 clean days, they go to visit a mikveh, which is a special bath, where these women have to go and they totally submerge themselves in the bath and say a prayer. And at the end of this, they are then considered to be clean again. It's usually at the mid-cycle, which is often the time when ovulation takes place in most women. Sex is not just for procreation, but there is a commandment which commands the husband that he should actually be able to satisfy his wife's sexual needs, so that it is for pleasure apart from just procreation, and this is quite an important part of their marriages.
Hello? Yes. In the yard. Why? I'm just standing now in the yard. I'm just standing in the yard. I mean, don't you want something that's like a proper and ex-company and a low mileage with a service history? I've got a little Rover 216, but that's done 70,000 now. Yeah, 8700D. That you could have for 22.5, but it's got a crack in the windscreen and a crack in the headlight. It did actually have, but somebody lent it and they can't.
That's one of the synagogues here, though you wouldn't particularly think so. Lots of them around, but you get to know where they are.
Romeo Bravo Juliet 681.
Okay, I'll be there in a few minutes. That's about the only thing that will make a few this week. What's that? I haven't got the column again.
No. You sold it?
Well, no, I didn't technically. You heard that from a Hasidic Jewish last minute. How many? You have to count them. Can you count?
I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here.
Have you locked it?
I did, you've got the plumber.